Hey guys, this is Leeza. Today I wanted to talk about heartbreak and dealing with breakups. Breakups are never fun, and especially if you've been with the person a really long time, breakups can actually be incredibly painful. Been there, done that. If you've been through a breakup or are going through a breakup, you can probably relate to just how excruciatingly painful it can seem, especially if it was a really sort of significant and long-lasting relationship. It can seem like your whole world has sort of crumbled and it's impossible to put the pieces back together. You can even feel in so much emotional pain that it actually affects your health, and you can get sick and, feel really sort of confined to your bed and unable to get up and unable to do stuff, and it can be debilitating. But I think it's really worth keeping in mind that time does heal even the most excruciating wounds. And there are many self-destructive things that are tempting to do in the grief that you feel in the aftermath of a breakup that it is much, much better if you don't do. So today, having been through breakups myself in the past, I just thought I would share some things that I think will help make sort of the most positive and productive decisions in your breakup aftermath to ensure that you're staying healthy and, as positive and happy as you can be as you move forward. So my first and most important tip would be to give yourself space. In the immediate aftermath of a breakup, if you really do want to get over this person and you both are sure that it's over, I would recommend just breaking all contact with each other. I'm all for staying friends with your ex in the long run, but just in the immediate aftermath of a breakup, in the months or maybe even years after, depending on how long it takes you to heal completely, I find that it is really, really helpful to just not engage with each other for a while, because it is so confusing to keep, seeing or talking to or interacting with that person who you once loved, who has hurt you, or for whatever reason it's not possible, but it's just gonna sort of stunt your ability to move on if you keep appearing in each other's lives. So just for a little while at least, and really it differs from person to person, but I think it can take at least several months and maybe even a year or two. Disconnect, delete their number from your phone, don't follow them on social media, block them if you have the discipline to, just block them on social media so that you're not obsessively looking at where they are now or if they're meeting someone else. And, just why waste your mind space on these completely irrelevant details of your ex's life when you could be focusing on yourself instead? So yeah, I would say block them on all social media, delete their number so you're not tempted to call in a vulnerable moment. I really, really think that in the short term, that's a great strategy if moving forward is truly your objective. And then, of course, later on, once you both have moved on and you're really, really comfortable with where you are emotionally, you can, of course, consider reconnecting and being friends again. But I think for at least a few months after a breakup, it is super, super helpful to restrict and perhaps even just cut off all contact with your ex. Also, breakup sex is just about the least productive thing you can do if you really want to get over someone. Don't do it. My next tip would be to just let it all out. Emotionally, a breakup is so demanding and so sort of painful and disturbing to your sense of equilibrium that of course you're going to feel sadness and grief and anger and all sorts of intense emotions. And so instead of bottling them up, I am all for expressing them. Cry if you need to, surround yourself with your close friends or family members or the people that you can really lean on for emotional support. Tell them how you're feeling, just let it all out. It's absolutely fine to give yourself time in the aftermath of a breakup to just feel all those emotions instead of pretending to be tough or, keeping a brave face and pretending like everything's okay. Nobody is superhuman. It is normal and completely expected, right, that you would be a wreck after a breakup. So especially in the day off or in the few days after your breakup, it's okay to feel like a complete mess, and it's better to let it all out than bottle it up. But that said, keep the focus on your well-being and, not sort of dwelling on all the little details of the relationship and what went wrong. Because if you get completely consumed in that grief and pain to the extent that it just completely gets in the way of your normal functioning and you're just constantly feeling sorry for yourself, that isn't very productive either. But I think it is important in the first few days at least to just take as much time as you need to feel the feelings you're feeling and get them out of your system. And it's definitely helpful also if you have friends and family around who you can lean on for support. Okay, next, focus on the positives. I think it can be really tempting to get caught up in all the little excruciating details of what went wrong and what your ex did wrong and how bad it all was, but there were probably some good times as well if a relationship lasted a significant amount of time, and it can be much more productive to focus on those good times, focus on what you learned. You can even write down in a journal if you like, the good parts of that relationship and how it helped you grow as a person. And definitely don't waste time like trash talking about your ex or trying to get in touch with his friends or family to put him down or her down or whatever the gender of your ex might be. I think also if you're the person that hurts someone, while it's, of course, you should feel bad that you hurt someone, beyond a point, forgiveness is a better place to be. So whether it is the other person or yourself that you're forgiving and learning from, I think that's a much more productive approach than dwelling on feelings of anger or guilt or seeking revenge of any kind. And it's just a much more peaceful state of mind to be in if you're able to let go and focus on the good, or at the most use what you've learned to make sure you don't make those mistakes in a subsequent relationship, rather than feeling like everything is just the worst thing possible has happened and you'll never recover from this and how bad everything is. I feel like that's a very self-destructive and negative frame of mind to be in. So focus on the positive. It's definitely easier to move on if you do. Another thing you can do to really help yourself heal and move on quickly is just immerse yourself in something you love doing. It could be work, it could be a hobby. I find that when you're single, you are supremely productive and you have more time to yourself, and you probably have also more energy to focus in on something that you love doing. So whether it's picking up a new interest or hobby or skill or just devoting yourself to your work, enjoy that extra time. Enjoy the fact that you don't have that much of a responsibility to be there for someone else or do things with someone else or whatever it is, and just focus on you. It can be amazing what all you can achieve in that time when you're single. It really is. And I think that just setting yourself new goals and getting excited about new challenges and absolutely immersing yourself in doing whatever it is that you're doing is a great way also to remind yourself how much bigger the world is than just that relationship that you used to be in. Because it can be so tempting to not see beyond that and just be like that was the only thing that meant anything to you. But in fact, there's just so much more. It's, possibilities are limitless, and there's so much that you can achieve. Next, avoid the temptation of getting with someone else right after your breakup. I think it can be really tempting to just, go on the rebound or get with the next person that shows you any attention. But it usually does take most people quite a bit of time to get over an ex. And if you get entangled with something new before you're over your ex, it's not going to be great for them because, well, you're not over your ex, and it won't be great for you either because you're not over your ex. Also, you're probably in a fragile emotional state right after a breakup, so getting all this new drama in your life is probably going to be only more complicated to deal with. You don't want to deal with unreturned calls and feeling unsure of whether someone likes you or not when you're still hurting from the breakup. And I feel like it's also not worth falling into this trap of like making your ex jealous by using this other person. It's just, you're involving too many other people and risking hurting so many people and yourself. It's really, I think, much more productive. Just give yourself a little time off and take the time you need to heal and get over your ex before you involve new partners. Alrighty, another thing that people often do in the aftermath of a breakup is turn to drugs and alcohol use and kind of just, numb their pain rather than dealing with it. And I think that in the long run that is also not really productive because you're just escaping the problem rather than dealing with it by sort of silencing your feelings. And I'm not judging, I don't mean to be moralistic about using substance. I just think the impacts on your health are not worth it. So I would rather channel that energy or that need for sort of intoxication in a productive habit like running or dancing or making art, because those actually are also capable of making your brain release the sorts of endorphins that are often associated with substance abuse. And instead, they're really productive channel, you know? You'll feel better, they're good for your health. Exercising, being creative, all of that stuff is actually gonna improve your life, whereas unfortunately, excessive amounts of alcohol and drugs, you're just gonna be waking up feeling like shit the next morning, and you know, it can have even worse ramifications on your health depending on the quantities that you take. So I would highly recommend that you choose healthier ways of dealing with your pain. Finally, in the long run, try and stay cordial with your ex. It is definitely worth your while, I think, to at least attempt at a friendship in the long run, like the months or years or however long it takes after you are over it and you both have moved on and everything. If you do bump into your ex somewhere, instead of being weird or awkward or running away or being rude, I think just being normal is a really beneficial way to go about it. And you know, if you think about it, like, you guys were an important part of each other's life once. You shared something beautiful and special, and there's no need to pretend like it never happened or like it was worth nothing or be angry about it. I just feel like striving for a sense of normalcy with your ex, particularly if you guys live in the same neighborhood or, you know, are in the same social circle or work together or anything like that, it can be a much, much easier and more peaceful way of dealing with things if you can forgive each other and sort of work towards some sort of civil, at least if maybe friendship is too much to ask, at least just like a cordial and non-confrontational situation is great. Because, you know, why fight, right? You can't change what happened and you both have moved on. Why not just be peaceful about it? Also, I think it's worth not being awkward about them seeing other people or you seeing other people, you know, be chill about each other's new partners. In my mind, that is all part of that whole process of really being over someone and really, really being able to move on. It shouldn't matter to you who they're seeing, and it shouldn't matter to you whether they're there or not there. They should just be like an acquaintance or someone who, you know, you have nothing against. At least that is what I would strive towards with all my exes. Alrighty, well, those were my tips for dealing with heartbreak. I know it can be really hard, so hang in there if you're going through a breakup right now. And I hope that you liked this video. I hope it was helpful. Please give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Please share it. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.